here. Hope everyone's enjoying themselves and had a nice week. Lots to talk about. Lots to talk about. Tom Gully says Rome wasn't built in a day, like 6 or 7 days at least. So we have a few days to get this shit together. This hodgepodge of a show. So I hope everyone's viewing's working out good, and I hope everyone is can listen loud and clear and all that good stuff. So first off, I'd like to welcome, as you guys are familiar, this show is affiliated with thepacky.com for your all your needs, and we have two of the writers here, myself and Mr. Mallet to the left of me. We just got about 10 people who are going to be joining the crew, so it's going to be. Right now, there's at least an article a day. There hopefully to be 10.
That. Yeah,
so.
I'm thinking like 10 people.
Yes.
Hopefully, like 4 of them stick. That's how it usually
That's
works.
what I'm
like,
hoping to. Yeah.
You end up bringing in a bunch of people, and you know some of them aren't going to work. And
from what I understand, from basically, that's basically the rhythm. So if you figure you get half are going to stay.
Yeah.
If you get 5 articles a day, the way the algorithm works for it to be picked up on Google and stuff like that, I've been researching. It basically has to do with how many articles you post a day. And the more you post, the more likely you are to get like better results as people Google and stuff and everything that too. So the goal is to have an article a day, and that's basically since the new year, actually past the new year, we've had an article a day. So we're doing pretty good.
There are some drawbacks to that though, because it's like you can't just type like blah blah post. And then it's an article because people will go, and then it's like people are like, this sucks.
What I was actually doing was I'm shutting down. Before there was where'sarty.com, which is now on the Packy.
There you go.
And where'sarty.com was a whole nother blog I had, and now I'm bringing some throwback articles, and adding those into the mix too. So everything's going to be on the one roof, which is nice. And then and that too, we have a YouTube page. If you go to the Packy on YouTube, there's plenty of videos. You can go see the video of the guy in Philadelphia hitting the pole. I managed to get 2 different angles of this guy. 2 different angles. So there's an angle of him hitting the pole from people looking outside the train, and a video of him actually outside the train from the different angle.
Yeah.
So I did some research online and found a couple streams of people's videos. So there's a double angle. It's the only video on YouTube that shows both angles.
I did see that. One of them is way too long though. I just want to see the guy hit the pole.
Yeah,
see him like dancing around, and then he runs and hits it. That's the one from behind.
It's a little anticlimactic. It's like this guy's dancing around, and all of a sudden but it looks like if you slow it down and you really examine it, it looks like he purposely hit the pole.
Really? No,
because he hits it in a way that he knows the pole's coming because he hits it shoulder first. So you can't really tell from the video from the people on the train. It looks like he hit the pole. From the video of him outside the train, you could see him slow up and throw his shoulder in. And I think he was so drunk that what happened was he lost his balance, and that's how he bounced off a moving train.
That's why I think you're half right, because I think he didn't anticipate what would happen if he bounced up against a moving train. Because I was like, oh my god, like that's bad.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, if you could have got a foot or an arm or something lodged between that and the train. I mean, that would be terrible, right? Imagine.
So where are we starting today? We start with sports. We start with
it's
pop culture stuff. We start with travel.
Let's do baseball real quick since. The video is lagging on Facebook. I know we gotta figure this problem out. It's the camera. We're going through a program. It's lagging a little bit. At least you get the audio. It catches up, but it's definitely a work in progress. Let's go to the Hall of Fame here. Baseball Hall of Fame. 4 inductees today. We're gonna be up there in Cooperstown in July. I don't know if I agree with all of them. It's
when was the last time you were at the Hall of Fame?
Last year. I've been going for the last few years every year. This year was the first year I didn't go in a couple of years.
Really, that would be a great road trip because there's nothing to do.
There's nothing. It really is.
It's just cornfields. Like
me and her were going to drive out there, but something came up the weekend. We were going to go out there or something like that. And then we wanted to stop it back on the way from Niagara Falls. That's what it was. But we were kind of in rush getting back. And Cooperstown, New York. I don't know if you ever been there after Labor Day or before Memorial Day, but it's a scary, desolate place.
It's Children of the Corn.
Yeah, I went there on Labor Day, a couple years ago, like Monday of Labor Day.
Yeah,
and it was literally the last day. Like I was at a restaurant where they were just giving out food, and because they had to clear their inventory because they were literally closing down. They were literally closing down until April 1st.
Yeah.
So whatever was left, beer was pretty much like 75% off. The food was cheap. And I'm sitting there, and they're just feeding us all this food, and I'm like, she's like, yeah, we're closing down tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right.
My family and I, we used to go there every year. It's for about 4 years. We had a travel trailer and we'd go there.
Yeah.
And it was funny because me and my dad not recently, I would say in 2005 we went. And no, 2004. 2005 is because the Sox won in 04. So in 05, and the exhibit went to see that.
Oh, yeah.
And we go, and I have to find the photo. I'm not bullshitting you when I say this. It was deserted. There's nobody walking on the sidewalk, but there's like cars parked everywhere. And I'm like, what is going on?
It's creepy.
And there was a church billboard. And you know those little church billboards in front of the church where you're driving on the street, you can see it.
Yeah.
This thing said, "Stop, drop, and roll doesn't work in hell." Right? And I have a photo next to it, and I was like, and me and my dad took a photo and ran like hell because we didn't know what was going to happen.
So when I'm up there, it's like I've been up there in the middle of the summertime, and it is booming. Like it's great because you can park in the parking lot and take the little trolley and takes you in. You don't have to worry about parking downtown, and you got to see Doubleday Field and all that stuff. So I've been there on different times of the year, but for the most part, like when you're there. I do the museum like every other year. So I only do the museum if I'm with someone who hasn't done the museum. If I'm there by myself or if someone who's already done the museum, I don't really do it. So I've done the museum twice. Me and Susie end up going. We'll probably do the museum to check it out again. And because the only thing that really changed is a few exhibits for the most part, right? And then you get the new plaque, obviously, for the people that just came in those years.
Yeah.
But I went, and Jim Rice was the year that Jim Rice got in. So that was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
So his new plaque was there and everything like that. That's cool. I mean, but the thing about the city is it's not just a museum, it's the whole town. It's like a summer town. It's like it's on the lake and everything.
It is.
But yeah, I mean it's a cool place. But the thing is, like, here's the thing. I think the Baseball Hall of Fame is the most covenant of the Hall of Fames, if you will, of all the four major sports. I think
we'll go with that. I mean, let's see. Basketball is what? Springfield. That's in a city.
It is. Well, but I mean, covenant meaning like it's the most prestigious to get into. It's the toughest to get into. I feel like the NFL lets anyone in.
I feel like baseball's becoming like that, but not yet. It's not there yet.
They still have their protocols.
They do, but it is starting to dwindle.
Not that I agree with the way that people are let in. I don't agree with that. I don't think baseball writers should be the ones. Because of the fact of the matter is, we're going to go through this list of people, and I can point out several of the players who were snubbed who just had bad relationships with the media, and I don't think that's a fair judgment. Basically, I think it should be based upon your skill level, accomplishments, and everything like that. And then you go to the opposite side of the spectrum, the NFL Hall of Fame, which I've never been to in Canton, but it pretty much allows anyone
in.
Ohio? Yeah, Ohio. Canton, Ohio. Yeah. Right. Ohio, home of shitty Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the NFL Hall of Fame.
But they have something.
All right, they have something. So, all right. So the 2018, 10 years off, inductees of the Baseball Hall of Fame are going to be Chipper Jones, Vladimir Guerrero, Jim Thome, and was it Travis Hoffman?
Yeah, Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman. All right. Okay, so, all right. I don't think Thome. Here's the thing. Thome is going to make it 89.9% of the vote he got, right?
Yeah.
If he's getting 89.9% of the vote, then Manny should be getting.
But Thome was also a media darling. He was a great guy to talk to. He would always open up. So yeah, that's what happens.
Exactly.
Vladimir
too. He was a nice guy with the media too.
I think Vladimir's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, he was a great player. I mean, don't get him around.
Yeah.
But Thome, man, I'm like, here's the thing. Now, if you look at these guys right here, right? Jones got 97%. Guerrero got 92%. Thome got 89%. So they're almost pretty much 90%. He got 89.9%. So they all got 90s, right? And these players played in the same time, had the same, like the Barry Bonds, who got 56.4%, okay? Yeah. The best pitcher who ever pitched in the 80s got 57%, okay? If you want to tell me who was a better pitcher in the 1980s into the early 90s that was better than Roger Clemens?
You're right, but the thing is, I think a lot of people are delusional with how good Roger Clemens was with the Red Sox. He finished with like a 500 record with the Red Sox. He was good, but he had like 2 really good years. But if you look at his record with the Red Sox and really break it down, it was good, but not.
Yeah, but what's
awesome.
An average? But what's a good pitcher's record though?
It's better than 500.
67% maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, you're winning as many games as you're losing. You got to remember he pitched in the 80s too. We didn't have relief pitches. as much as we do nowadays. We had a closer.
But if you're good, you're good. And he was playing.
True.
And so he got better. And then he got better when he started doing steroids.
I don't know if he got better. I don't think he advanced with steroids, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say Roger Clemens, my all-time favorite baseball player. It's who I grew up watching. If he used the Ted Williams to my grandfather, this Roger Clemens. His ability to pitch big games and his attitude and his demeanor. I think as a Red Sox, he was great. And I think it wasn't for Dan Duquette, he would have still been a Red Sox. And I understand he had a decline. And I understand there was some controversy when he went to Toronto and all of a sudden he started advancing in his, he started being a pitch again.
Honestly, I think if it wasn't for Dan Duquette, that Clemens wouldn't have been as good as he ended up because he was so pissed off.
True, he had like a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. So it improved him.
So now, how would you? Then we're gonna go to football very quickly. But wouldn't you say Roger Clemens' advancement as an older age is very similar to a quarterback who's playing in a Super Bowl at the age of 41?
Oh, I would.
Next week?
Yes. Maybe there should have been a Roger Clemens.
Okay, so I'm not saying Tom Brady does steroids at any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, nowadays, no.
I mean, who knows what's going to come out years from now? But is there a slight chance that possibly now let's pretend let's use hard evidence here, not evidence that Jose Canseco or butt needles and everything came out or a book or anything. Let's say
it might have been Ozzy.
Was there anything that said that Roger Clemens was doping up 100%?
Okay, I remember following the trial, and there was a whole thing with like a needle and DNA.
Yeah, and he held a needle in his closet for 10 years.
And there was some weird stuff going on.
I mean, come on.
I think it's probable and most likely, but not proved.
And I think, and that's the reason I don't want these fucking sports writers. Everyone who's a member of the BW, what the hell is it? It's the Baseball Writers of America, or is it BWA or something like that?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourselves.
But what I don't like about
nothing's worse than a fucking baseball beat writer, like Maz.
Oh God, yeah.
Who's on a local Boston station? Who was a beat writer for the Red Sox for many years. There is nothing more dick sucking than a beat writer for a team, and there's no whinier bitch than a beat writer for a baseball team because, that player didn't give me an interview or answer my question, so I'm going to hate him for the rest of his fucking career he's in this city. And that's why players don't want to play in certain cities. Well, half the reason why they don't want to play in certain cities is because these fucking beat writers go and they just sit there, he won't answer my question. Instead of these fucking players who just show up like Troy O'Leary and all these other fucking great Trot Nixons of the world, who just show up and play and tell you to go fuck yourself, you know what I mean? And because they won't answer your question about whatever, because these guys don't really want to deal with media, you know what I mean? I understand if you're a professional athlete, you have to know that part of your job is going to have to be dealing with the public media.
It's true.
But you know what? If you're doing good at your job, we both work at offices. Mm-hmm. If someone in our office is doing really good at a job and they may not want to do what the rest of the office is doing, usually that is not kind of like, let this guy just do what he's doing. He's performing. Let's not make him do something. Let's not make him fucking go eat a cake, every month for someone's birthday. You know what I mean? Let's let him just finish his job and let it do correctly, right? Let him be a little antisocial. Let him be a little weird,
That's me every month.
But he's getting shit done, right?
Yeah.
So, like, these guys, they're producing on the field. They're doing good jobs. You know what? If they don't want to talk to you in your whiny, stupid questions, like, I feel like a baseball beat writer is the bottom of the barrel of sports writing.
It is.
Because you start off as following these players on these shitty-ass AAA and AA teams around the country, right? These shitty-ass cities like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or fucking Lexington, Kentucky, or fucking Springfield, Illinois, right?
Yeah.
And then you finally make it to the big leagues. Now you're writing for the big paper, right? Now you made it from the Providence Journal. Now you're at the Boston Globe, right? Yeah. Now you're following the Red Sox to Springfield, Springfield, Seattle, to Oakland, right? But you're still asking the same whiny-ass questions, right? You know what I like about NFL beat writers and Patriot writers in particular is that they don't get nothing from the Patriots when it comes to like asking a question, right? They get shut down.
They get nothing. That's nothing.
And you can hear the quiver of their voices when they ask questions. Can you not? Can you hear like when they ask Belichick a question? It sounds like the kid's going like something's Peter Brady. But you get these Red Sox beat writers, right, and reporters who are like, who I don't even think they're right. Like, how much, honestly, 162 games a year, right? How much could you be writing differently every day? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So, for these assholes to have the right to have players who literally pour their fucking hearts and soul for the game for years, for their entire life. If you're a baseball player who plays in Major League Baseball, chances are you've been playing since you were 3 years old and you'll be able to fucking pick up a glove for the most part, right? You sacrificed your college career to go play for baseball. You sacrificed 10 years of your life playing in shitty AAU leagues or high school teams or these private leagues and then playing in the shitty AA and single A and triple A. You sacrificed your entire life for a passion of a sport you want to play for the mere chance that you make it to Major League Baseball and get paid the bare minimum of any professional fucking athlete.
Rock on, buddy.
Just for these assholes who has some fucking stupid college degree from Emerson because he was writing fucking in the Emerson fucking sports page editor, or he maybe went to Wentworth and was the sports editor of the Wentworth newspaper, who also has a show on this station right now. You know, why do I have the right to fucking pick who goes into the fucking All-Star, right?
Well, that was a rant. I wanted to get back to Clemens for a second, though.
It gets me so angry. Clemens was a good pitcher.
He was, but he was a tool bag. He wrote a letter to the Hall of Fame.
There's so many shittier people in the Hall of Fame.
I know there is, but Clemens wrote a letter to the Hall of Fame saying that if he gets into the Hall of Fame, he said when he gets into the Hall of Fame, he doesn't want to go in as a Red Sox, and he explained why. And he went out of his way to actually write a letter.
Tom Gooley's right. Bonds and Clemens are nothing but scapegoats of the steroid era. That's all they are. They're going to be guys who may never make it to the Hall of Fame, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, if you're a baseball buff and you know anything about Barry Bonds, you know that Barry Bonds would have been a Hall of Famer regardless. He was a fast, he was a great leadoff hitter. This guy got on base all the time. He stole bases.
He decided to taint his legacy.
You know, and when he was a Pittsburgh Pirate, this guy was he was nasty. He played in the Pirates when the Pirates sucked, and he was an all-star. He went to San Francisco because he started hitting the ball. But you know why? Do you know why I blame the steroid era? I don't blame it on the players at all. I don't blame it on the individual players whatsoever. I blame it on the fucking commissioner who sucked. What the fuck was his name?
Bud Selig.
Bud Selig. Who only got the job because Paul Giminari's fucking father died after he banned Pete Rose. The day after he beat Pete Rose from baseball. Oh my God! What's that actor's name? Paul.
Hold on a second. Is what's happening what I think is happening?
Oh my God!
Yes.
No, you can't see it on TV.
No, I'm just playing with his ears.
You're missing it.
His ears is what does it.
If the camera was 6 inches lower, you could see Tommy's pee-pee. Little Tommy is full Red Rocket right now. Full Red Rocket. Like, this thing is like at full extent right now. But it literally gets cut off right above his paws.
His ears played with it. Apparently.
Yeah, we're still being PG here. Apparently, little Tommy Brady is getting very excited about the baseball talk. So, Edgar Martinez missed it by 4.5%. What do you think about Edgar?
I like Edgar Martinez. It's not his fault. He's a DH. I think he was very good. He
was
way over 300 hitter career, I believe.
There at one point has to be a DH to get in to set the precedent. Here's the thing. In 2 years, Major League Baseball is going to have a DH in both leagues. It's a fucking position, okay?
Yeah.
It's been a position for 40-something years now.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
It's there. So.
If you're in the American League, you need a DH, okay? And now now baseball as a whole already decided that you're going to have starting pitches, relief pitches, and closing pitches, right?
Yeah.
So now, if you already established that you're going to be A, B, or C for your defensive part of the ball, right? Why can't you just designate? Why is it a cliche to designate one particular person to be a DH on the offensive side of the ball? Why can't you be a professional DHer? Okay.
Exactly.
Why? And if you're going to make it a rule that the American League has to do it, I mean, they don't have to do it. You could not have a DH in, but if every other team's doing it, it's stupid not to have a DH.
You're preaching to the choir here, buddy. I get you.
But why can't you just accept the fact that it is A, position for over 40 years now, and B, there is room in the Hall of Fame for said person who decided that they were going to focus their entire skill level and skill set on just hitting instead of have to play in the stupid field half the time, right?
Yeah.
So why is Edgar Martinez, who should be the first DH officially, into the Hall of Fame, diddy bopping 4.5 points away from making it in?
Because the league is racist and he doesn't speak.
No, it's
because
you have asshole baseball writers letting these people in instead of the people that should be letting them in. Like, you know what I think? I think you should let players vote on it.
I like that.
I think if you let
retired players who have been,
you know, that's even better. I like that. Retired players.
Yeah.
I think retired players. Yeah, because you know what? That gives you people. You have to have 5 years minimum Major League Baseball experience, and you have the right to vote on who makes the Hall of Fame. And now what that does is allow to wash out the players that you didn't get along with because there'll be enough people to take that over. Yeah. It allows you people who aren't good with the media because all the players have the same mindset and they know each other's skill level. They study each other's play. I mean, you got to think about it. And even if you don't do players, let coaching staff vote these people in.
There you go.
Retired or not retired, you know what I mean? Let these people vote them in. But if I'm looking at this list right now, and Egg Martinez misses it, Mike Mussina misses it.
Yep.
Right?
I think he was better than Clemens, though, in the voting, right?
He was. And I think he might have been a better pitcher than Clemens.
Yeah, I mean, Mussina was on a shitty Orioles team for quite a while.
True. So. But I think when it breaks down to it, I mean, then you have Barry Bonds, Kurt Schilling, which I think is a borderline Hall of Fame. I don't know if he...
Hold on. What the fuck is Belichick wearing? Did you see that?
Yeah, it's like a custom.
Sorry.
Belichick was in a press conference today, and he literally took a men's T-shirt and cut the sleeves off, so it was like a man-made tank top.
Like a man-made Guido shirt.
Like it was like he was living in a trailer park. The guy's making, $15 million a year, and he's dressed like he's a hobo. But anyways, like Kurt Schilling, I could see is a borderline. All right.
Yeah.
But he's above Manny Ramirez, who may have the greatest swing in the history of baseball.
One of the best right-handed hitters ever.
I've never seen a player in all of his years of all watching baseball to see a man be able to hit the ball and know exactly when the pitch is coming like Manny Ramirez. I mean, his swing is like when God said this is a baseball swing, he picked Manny Ramirez's swing, right?
As a right-handed hitter, yeah.
As a right-handed
lefty,
hitter,
I would
yes.
say Ken Griffey Jr. He had a very smooth swing.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Agreed.
Cutting through butter.
Agreed.
You know?
Fred McGriff, which I think is borderline. I don't know.
Yeah.
Omar Vizquel, I think borderline. Gary Sheffield, borderline. These are guys
He
who...
hit the jerky, like, Parkinson's bat.
Yeah. Gary Sheffield was a very odd player.
He was.
I mean, look at this one here. Johnny Damon, 1.9%.
Good.
Johnny Damon's not a Hall of Famer.
He's not at all.
He'll
never be a Hall of Famer.
Johnny Damon is your typical utility player for a team, but he's not. I'm saying that maybe incorrectly. He's not a utility player for a team.
He's a solid player,
but he's a supporting cast member.
And Jacoby Ellsbury is a watered down version of him.
Exactly, he's a poor man's Johnny Damon.
Yes,
and because basically the two players are the same,
pretty much,
except that Johnny Damon was better at it.
Exactly.
And got paid a lot less than he did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But Johnny Damon was a supporting cast member. He was Star Wars. He was Boba Fett. You know what I mean? You needed him in the movie to make it make sense, but he wasn't the guy who's going to win the Academy Award. You
and
know what
dies without any recognition.
Manny Ramirez is Luke Skywalker. Okay? He's a guy that you all right. You take Manny Ramirez away from any team he was in, right? The 90s Indians, the 2000 Red Sox, right? You take him out of the equation, and it's a proven fact. You take Manny Ramirez, right? 2008, we lost Game 7 to the Tampa Bay Rays, right?
Yes.
And the ALCS, right? Why? Because we didn't have Manny Ramirez because we traded him off, and we got friggin' who was that shithead right fielder we got who ended up on the Mets?
Oh, Jason Bay.
Jason, I'm going to show up when I want to, Bay.
No, but worse than him was J.D. Drew.
J.D. Drew, I mean...
J.D. Drew would hit a home run and then take the next day off, next 2 days,
take the
games
fucking
off.
month off.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
It was like when J.D. Drew hit that grand slam in the 2007 World Series. It wasn't a World Series. It was the ALCS.
Against the Devil Rays? I was there. I saw that.
No, this was he hit a grand slam also and against the Indians. I think it was Game 6.
Okay.
And all the baseball writers in town were pretty much hot and moist. He earned his paycheck this year for that grand slam.
Yeah.
Well, what about the guys who are grinding that all season long? You know what I mean?
He pulled the Gilmore on the Patriots. He did something that actually
at the right time, right?
At the perfect time.
Yeah, that's what everyone's talking about too. We'll get to that, but we're gonna get off. We'll get off baseball because we've been talking a lot.
We could talk this forever.
We gotta
keep this moving.
But the reality is, I don't think that baseball writers should have the right to write. And in addition, I think This should be another reason. Quality. I think some of these things are justified. I don't think others are. I think a lot of these players are just not making it in because there's a lot of young players who are voting for him. I guarantee a lot of these votes were coming from younger guys like you and I who grew up with the game. But I think a lot of these people who are not voting for him are the older guys who just have a hair across their ass because they either hated him, they have this stigma of
some kind of snacky remark to them when they had a microphone on them and they were like, "Don't talk to me."
Or they're not. They can't get their egos out of the way, knowing that the reason there was a steroid era in baseball was because in '94 there was a strike and no one wanted to watch baseball anymore. And you know what? Steroids worked because you watched baseball. How old were you in '94?
Oh God,
11, 12 years old.
We're in the ballpark.
10 years old. Right, you're at an age where you're gonna pick what sport you're gonna go to. I fell in love with baseball, and we were talking about this earlier. We can translate this over to the NFL right now, but we were talking about what year did you start that baseball went from your number one down to like your number two, or at least dropped it.
We're talking late, like early, like mid 2005 ish around there.
That's when it started dropping for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was still there, but it started to kind of dwindle.
And double backs here. Feel to join us if you like. There's a mic open right there, as usual, but But the thing is, it's baseball for me has always been number one in my entire life. I grew up, and in fact, as when I was a young lad, the Celtics were number 2, and the Patriots were actually number 3.
The Patriots are moving up.
And what happened was in the '90s, late '90s, after I broke double backs cat bowl after the AFC Championship against the Jaguars many moons ago, '97. That's when the Celtics were kind of in a dark page after Bird and all this stuff, and now I started going up a little bit, and Patriots took the number 2 spot, and then it was around 2015 where the Patriots took the number 1 spot, and the Red Sox have dropped down to number 3.
Well, it's easier too when you have a game once a week. Hype builds, but when you have a game every day, it's kind of like.
But there was still a passion, though.
The passion's there. I
had MLB Network for 15 years. When it came out, I was watching Pirates versus National games just because I loved baseball. It was. One of the saddest games I ever went to was the Washington Nationals versus the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh. And this was when both teams were bottom of the barrel, sucky.
That's one of those games where they're lying about the attendance on the 7th inning stretch.
It was a beautiful Sunday in July in Pittsburgh. The view was immaculate. The three rivers were merging right across front of my eyes.
Yeah.
But it was the Nationals versus the Pirates.
I used to own a Nationals jersey.
You did. When the Nationals moved to D.C., he bought a Monaco Nationals jersey. I wish you still had this thing because I'd love to have this in the living room on a mannequin somewhere.
That has been trashed.
That's too bad.
Unfortunately, because it's seen better days.
Yeah. Did you wear it often, though?
I wore it a lot when I used to play stickball.
Oh. Stickball.
Stickball. Not baseball. Not softball.
Stickball.
One of the best outfielders in stickball on Marshall Street.
There you go.
So Rob Mad home runs.
He's in the Hall of Fame for Marshall Street Revere stickball.
Speaking of the layer of sports, basketball actually just passed baseball.
For you?
For second most popular sport.
Oh, I bet.
This past year.
I have to say, out of the 4 major sports,
baseball is now the 3rd most popular sport in America.
And they better be careful because
it's funny because they get paid more.
Coming.
Hockey's slowly creeping.
The pay grade, though, if you're going by pay grade, baseball is still way up there. I mean, basketball, baseball, I think are obviously.
Well, I'm talking about overall fan.
Basketball probably has the highest. Athlete pay.
Yeah.
Baseball does.
No, baseball does because they don't have a salary cap.
Yeah, baseball you can pay. I mean,
I have a problem with athletes' pay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
are we gonna get out of sports soon?
I mean, we will, but there's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of
we can
sports
keep going
related.
Here forever.
No, but here's the thing. Just staying on the topic of ranking sports, I think that having the 1 game a week leaves the
checkers.
Checkers, yeah. Pocket pull. Pocket pull, yeah.
That sounds gross.
Public park checkers.
Public restroom.
Did you ever play public park chest?
What a public chest?
Like the chessboards that are on built into the park, and you have to bring your own pieces.
I've seen them, but I
like old people play. I did it once. It's interesting.
How long did you last?
No, I think I got 3 moves. I was done.
Bedroom. Oh.
3 moves and I'm dead. 3 moves and I'm a father.
Pow.
Dead in the water.
3 moves and the pregnant test is coming out positive. And that was it. Are you coming back?
I don't know, maybe.
All right. All right, there you go. That was double back. You made me back. Double back made me back.
So, but more importantly, the Super Bowl's coming up.
Yeah, so let's transition to football. It's the number one sport in the country, right? Is that what it is? Who's slowly losing ratings, though, because I think, the product is...
call it that. It really bothers me.
Here's the thing. I mean, because we're consumers. We're consuming the sport on a regular basis, a weekly basis. We're watching the games. We're buying the merchandise. We're feeding into the feeling of the sport. But don't you think at some point a market can be flooded?
Yes.
And there is diluted. There's a very diluted, unskilled entertainment. It's almost like, okay, you have a movie that comes out, and it's a really good Quentin Tarantino movie, or Quentin Quarantino,
I would say Tarantino movie.
or what's his name, Skorsky. Oh my God, I'm butchering names today.
Just today,
Goodfellas. Who wrote the Goodfellas and Casino? Martin Scorsese. I can't fucking say names today. But those are quality movies. Those take 3-4 years to put together, right?
Yes.
And then you get a movie that they put together in 8 months and it sucks, right?
Held together by duct
tape
and
and there's a lot of them like that, and it just kind of dilutes the market of a good movie, right?
That's true.
So when you think about it, and I always thought about I thought there was always too many teams. I thought cities shouldn't have double teams. I don't think small markets should have teams for any of the 4 major sports, for that matter. And I think that's why baseball had the market pretty well, because they had all the major cities, and then the cities that were second and third degree cities, they had minor league teams that fit the joint, right?
Yeah.
So you're Indianapolis. It's not a major city, and it probably can't support a professional baseball team, but they have a AAA team, which still brings people in, and it still gets the flavor of the sport, into the city.
That's the only thing that's keeping Pawtucket, Rhode Island alive.
Well, in basketball and hockey kind of do that, because basketball has, Portland has a basketball team that's, the D League or whatever they named it now. It's a different league now. They haven't named it. But it gets minor league. It gets a taste of the professional sport, but allows you to still have an allegiance to a professional sport, okay? Mm-hmm. What they're doing right now is the skill level in football is definitely terrible, right? Okay, so you think about it. All these college kids, they're coming out after a year or two. They're not fully fine-tuned to the sport. They're not knowledgeable about the sport. They're skillful enough to be drafted, but when it comes down to it, they're just getting into the league because they're afraid of an injury that's going to prevent them from, whatever. Okay, that's fine. And this happens in every single sport. But the difference between, baseball and football, the difference between baseball and hockey, which have a great minor league program, and basketball and football, is that in baseball and hockey, you can at least go into a developmental phase of your sports. And in baseball, you make it up the ranks of the leagues, and you play some shitty-ass cities around the country, and you double and single A days, but you eventually make it to the big market. But at that point, you have all the skill set that you need. And hockey, I think, is very similar, because you're playing in these, the AHL, and you're playing against players who you may, it's a good level of if you're going to make it or not. The D League, I think, is kind of a joke, because basketball players, I think, for the most part, are very undeveloped coming out of college, because all you have to do is go in there for a year, and you play. And how much professional level skill are you learning at that point? You know what I mean?
True.
And, every once in a while you have an anomaly like LeBron or Kobe who was able to figure that out, without going to college, and just because they were babied and, everyone was sucking their dick for the time they were able to shoot a 3-pointer at, 4 years old. But, at the same time, it's like, okay, so that's the minority. That's the 1%ers, right? What about the rest of the league? There's a lot of shitty professional sports. And ordinarily, I wouldn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? If, I was watching, it was shitty. I'm not going to judge you on your job. For all I know, I don't know how good you do at your job.
Yeah.
You could do a shitty job. I could be doing a shitty job for all we know, right? I could give 2 fucks, and I'm sure you could do the same about me, right? But at the end of the day, if I'm paying $3,000 a year for my season tickets for the Celtics, and I'm getting a shitty-ass product on the field, right? I am no longer a spectator. I am now a consumer.
Yes.
I am now buying a product. I am now buying into something like the NFL. I'm watching your games on Sunday. I'm going to your games. I'm buying your merchandise. Well, if your product sucks, if you're the LaQuanta Inn of hotels, I'm not staying at you.
Yeah.
I'm staying at the Ritz-Carlton if I'm putting that kind of money up. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day is these leagues are pretty much outpricing themselves out of a market in which basically makes it an unwatchable product. I remember the days, and we can go back maybe 10 years ago, that you could watch an NFL game on any given Sunday and be entertained?
Oh God, I vaguely remember those.
Like
days
you could
anymore.
watch the Browns say play
Yeah.
the shitty Jaguars, and it'll be an entertaining game because you had money on the game,
They're
maybe
two
because
shit
you
teams,
had
but like
fantasy players.
It's going to be competitive.
But you were going to see a decent NFL game, right? And now, and this is no difference. What happened was I don't think it's the amount of and I don't think it's the amount of teams that's the problem. I think it's the amount of skill sets people who play in these teams are given.
Yeah.
I think coaching has a lot to do with it. I think there's in every league there's a lot of shitty coaches. There's a lot of shitty players. There's a lot of big contracts that can't justify the skill set of these players. And I think as consumers, the reason the NFL and all these other sports leagues are falling down on the ranks, and I know double back said basketball is actually stepping up, which because basketball overall I think for the most part puts on a decent product.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL one time used to. I think it's very tough for baseball to do that just because it's baseball. You have to really love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
But hockey is up there. I know you guys aren't big hockey fans.
No, I'm definitely
but
not a big hockey guy.
any
at all.
given night when there's not sports on, I can turn on what the hell is it? NBC Sports or whatever like that, and there's a hockey game on. And it's entertaining. I remember this one time I went to a Nashville Predators versus Red Wings game in Nashville, and it was awesome. It went to a shootout at the end of the game. I mean, it was a really good hockey game.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it. And I had no allegiance for any team, but football, baseball.
who's gonna win the fucking Super Bowl, Arty? Can we get to this?
I'm just hearing some grievances.
Can we
in
get
the
to
league,
who's gonna eliminate it? Who's gonna win the fucking Super Bowl?
Well, don't you think the whole idea?
I'm.
But going into
He's got some chips on his shoulder.
no, but going into
going
into the Super Bowl, don't you think there's a lot of shitty teams that are in the playoffs this year that shouldn't have been there?
Yeah. Oh,
and
for
don't
sure.
you think that the Final Four?
I can probably only name
Oh God.
one.
Get on mic, because we can't hear you.
Who was it? I will.
If you want to talk about, if you want to, and I'm sure you're gonna have an educated
oh God.
opinion on this, but what teams don't you think deserve to be in there?
What team do I not deserve to be in the playoffs this year?
Yeah,
The Titans, the only team.
you're the only team. You don't think the Bills?
So
think the Bills deserve to get
who
in
would
there?
replace the Titans if you could?
What
replace
team
them?
should have been in there other than the Titans? The Colts. Colts didn't have a
With
quarterback.
a healthy Andrew Luck, they were in
Well, no, we're not. The injuries aside, the results that just got snubbed. I think the Chargers should have been the team that got in there, not the Titans.
I agree.
I mean, if you're going to go in that manner of the,
I think Arty hit that.
I think
right
that
on the
might
head.
be the only team, though. If you theoretically think about the teams that had made the playoffs
yeah,
versus the teams that had not,
true. Okay, so
like where in the NFL, what team in the NFL underperformed? Maybe you can say the Arizona Cardinals.
yeah,
Maybe the Seattle Seahawks.
yep, definitely
That's about it.
that underperformed.
Underperformed, but
They didn't make the playoffs.
What
Is
about
it due-
Baltimore?
but it could be due to
how about
injury.
Baltimore?
I didn't think Baltimore was a playoff.
the Texans. I mean, they lost the
Texans,
quarterback.
I think.
They lost. I think the Texans are better. They lost their. Remember?
How about Oakland?
Who was their quarterback? The Texans that went down. I forget
Yeah,
his name. Like they were rolling, and then they lost Watt. They lost.
Name every team outside of the Cleveland Browns
True,
and maybe the Jets that we could say had a chance to make the playoffs.
that's true. So,
out of the
but-
actual teams that made the playoffs,
but did you find any of these
what are
teams?
the shitty teams that you're
But-
qualifying as that should not have made the playoffs?
At the end of the 10 teams that made it sexy to you, or 12
Yes.
teams? How many teams make it? 10? Is it 10?
12.
12 teams.
Yeah, 12.
Okay, out of the 12 teams
I
that
would
made it,
say
does anyone have a sex appeal to them? Like a really
Yes.
good, like I want to watch this team play any given Sunday.
yes.
See, I thought the
Yeah.
playoffs this year was shitty.
They were.
There was
but
so many exciting games.
a lot of
There
the
were
teams-
exciting
yes.
games, but it was exciting games against shit teams.
But it doesn't. But it doesn't matter because it's
Exciting
exciting.
games, exciting game.
Exactly.
I understand.
And-
You're talking about, yeah, but that's an entertainment factor. I'm talking about like
What would you
a
have
skill
rather
set
see?
factor.
So AFC Championship
On paper, should have been Pittsburgh versus
on
Patriots.
paper.
Okay, now you can make a
Was the
point of
Jags-Patriots game exciting for you?
it was, but you knew the entire game the Patriots were going to win.
Did you?
Yes, and I think 90%
Yeah,
of
I never
America do.
felt- I never.
I
felt
don't.
like
If
they
you
were
ask a lot of people, I don't think anyone who was outside of Jacksonville, even the Jacksonville fans that were at the game, thought the Patriots were going to win.
Yeah, because we're spoiled, so we're like, yeah, I got
Was it
this.
closer than you thought?
It was a lot closer.
It
than
was
I thought.
close, yes. Yeah.
But I think that
Was it closer than
there
you
was a film. Now the game that I thought I was pretty good this year. The only team I got wrong was the Saints. I thought the Saints were going to win, and they lost.
Yeah.
And I thought Philadelphia was going to beat the Vikings.
I actually shut the game off after the field goal from the Saints.
I will say though,
with 25 seconds left. I started to go out.
Going into the Eagles Patriots game, I will say I think the Eagles they've proven they're a more well-rounded team because let's face it, if the Patriots lost Brady, they're not going to win. The Eagles lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
And they're still winning, so they are more of a well-rounded team. I think they're going to win. They're not Eagles. Are not going to win. We agreed on this a while ago. The Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl.
They're well-rounded in the sense that their quarterback, who's their backup, is a very streaky and very
he's extremely
schizophrenic quarterback.
He
broke the record for most.
Last 8 good,
but he
quarters have been phenomenal.
But he broke the record a couple years ago for the most touchdowns thrown in a game. Right?
He has extremely high quarterback rating.
Seven touchdowns thrown in one game.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But what happened the next year? He was
probably
replaced.
4 interceptions and threw
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Here's the thing. He's very streaky.
Yeah, which
he's
Nick Foles is going to show up. You don't know.
So going into this game, you know you're going to get at least at worst, an average Tom Brady. Okay? At his minimum worst, you're going to get a guy who's going to give an average game, who's going to be an average quarterback.
Yeah.
When you look at Nick Foles, you don't know if you're going to get, Grandpa Simpson, or you're going to get, fucking Joe Montana.
353 yards and a couple of touchdowns or 3 picks that get returned. You don't know.
As the captain of the ship, your quarterback, who literally 51% of the game depends on.
Yeah.
Because I think 51% of the game is your quarterback. And I think 49% of it's your defense.
Yep.
Because you could still win a game with a shitty defense and a good quarterback. It's tough to go the other way around.
I agree.
Okay?
So I got a question for Adam. Where do you rank Nick Foles on the Blake Bortles Rex Grossman scale?
At least here's the thing. At least Blake Bortles is consistently shit. Nick Foles is up and down, so he's more annoying. That's how I rank it.
Yeah,
Nick
it's
Foles,
tough to track.
But in a playoff scenario, are we talking playoffs, regular season?
Playoffs?
We're talking
playoffs?
Would you put Nick Foles in the exact same category that you put Blake Bortles in a few weeks ago, saying that he's riding the coattails of a good defense?
If we're gonna,
or are you gonna compare him to Rex Grossman just straight up?
I did not compare him to Rex Grossman. I made an analogy over both of those teams. Their weakness was their quarterback, and I've mentioned this several times. It had nothing to do with statistical analysts.
So is the Eagles' weakness currently Nick Foles?
It is. That's why the Patriots are going to win. Nick Foles is the weakest link in that team.
I think so.
Nick
Agree.
Foles, a trash quarterback.
A trap quarterback?
Trash?
A trash quarterback. Nick Foles is a streaky, annoying quarterback. He's the J.D. Drew, and he is
the J.D. Drew.
He is highlighting his team, so he's a liability, which is why the Jaguars lost. 4th down. Did you put the ball in the hands of Nick Foles to make a play? No, sorry, Nick Foles. I mean, Blake Bortles to make a play. Could he do it? Nope.
I'm sorry.
He proved that he can't do it.
Up until 2 weeks ago, I thought
he was the same thing.
Did not make a play, or did Stephon Gilmore make the play?
Yeah, but he's had plenty of opportunities. The thing is, Belichick forced them to make. He forced Bortles to do something.
Stephon Gilmore is worth that play.
They kept running the ball. and we kept stopping them.
I'm sorry,
and they didn't even adapt.
You could have put any cornerback on that, and I think they still would have made a play on that game. I mean, we're up by. They needed a touchdown to win.
Well,
a field goal was going to give them shit.
You had to have a quarterback. You have to have a quarterback who knows what to do.
Field goal was not going to win the game.
No. So
was that a bad throw by Blake Bortles at the end of the game?
I don't think it was a bad throw. I think
it wasn't
Stephon
a bad throw,
Gilmore
but he
made
had
a good
plenty
play.
of other opportunities.
But I don't think that was
the
the play. I think even if that guy caught the ball, they still need a touchdown.
You're like in love with Bortles. You're like
I agree. I would say that my impression of Bortles has improved a bit after that game. He did show up. He did play a decent game.
Mistake-free football.
And you know what?
But shitty throws and incomplete throws.
He's Joe Flacco. He's Joe Flacco.
Perfect.
That's a better.
I like that.
He's Joe Flacco.
I never made the Rex Grossman.
Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, right? And Joe Flacco was a quarterback. He's an above average quarterback on a team that his defense supported him. So if you look at it this way, the Ravens made it to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl on their really good defense and their above average quarterback. And that's the Jags could The Jags could do that. If the Jags have to play Patriots, if they didn't have to, if they say they played Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship, right? For some reason it worked out that way. They would have went to they would have been at the Super Bowl this week, right? And you would have had a Joe Flacco type Baltimore Ravens from 4 years ago, and they probably would have won. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl if the Jaguars are in against Philadelphia. Yeah. Just for the fact of the matter is, this is the way it works. Yeah. So Bortles isn't a great quarterback. He's not going to make the Hall of Fame. But what he's going to do is if he gets in the same, if he's in the right situation, like Flacco was, right? Right situation, he could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But he's not going to lead a team.
He's not going to win you a game.
He's not going to change it.
But he could lose you a game. That's how I've.
But as long as he has that defense behind him,
exactly,
chances are better than not that good, right? Now, if he was on the team for a shitty defense, then it doesn't look too good. Now, if you get Blake Bortles, say you get him a really good receiver that can like a Randy Moss type that can catch a fucking golf ball.
Remember, their top 2 wide receivers were injured for the first 10 weeks of the season.
Robinson's gone.
Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns.
Yes.
There's a scary team. The Jaguars are going to be around for a while.
Yeah, hopefully.
They're not going anywhere.
But their coaching sucks. They kept running the same goddamn run play every goddamn drive, and we kept blocking it.
Super Bowl.
I know, but we kept blocking it. What? They can't adapt.
But
these teams have plans. No.
Have you ever heard of that coach in your life before, though?
But these teams have plans, and they don't adapt. At least the Patriots adapt.
But think about it. Have you
we're going to do this.
That coach, right?
Doesn't work.
Have you ever heard that coach before in your life?
Doug Marrone, yeah. He used to coach the Buffalo Bills.
Exactly. Then, but if you look at his track,
decent record in Buffalo too.
But if you look at his track record, he's no. Think about when the Jags made the AFC Championship twice before prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Coughlin was the coach. He's a guy who knows what the fuck he's doing.
Defensive mind.
Right. So this guy who is a coach for the Bills, did the Bills make the playoffs at all when Marrone was up there at all?
No, he had a decent record though.
I mean, he's not a terrible coach, but it's a. Football in the playoffs is a chess match. It's one coach trying to figure out what the other coach is going to do and how they're going to justify it, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's, okay, so everyone's an even playing field. You're here for a reason. Both teams are good. Now, how are you going to outsmart the other team, and how are you going to make the other team look like an idiot, right? Now, there's been many times little Russian kids have beat computers in chess, right? Mm-hmm. So, and there's no difference. The computer's supposed to know it all the time, right? So there's times that people beat Bill Belichick. If you think of Bill Belichick as a computer, there's little Russian kids that beat him. Right? I mean, just think about it. You know what I mean? When you think about chess, right? It's always the Russians versus the computers. So there's always a variable that you could lose. Yeah. And it's a chess match. It's how you perform. It's how you do it. So any given Sunday, anyone can lose. Yeah. I mean, look at the Patriots. Everyone thought they were going to 19-0.
Yeah, that's funny. Did you ever play play Madden football?
Oh, all the time.
Every year we would get together, me and friends of mine, and we would run. We all played Madden, and we would run the simulator during the Super Bowl. Yeah. And we would all bet like $1
and see if it
speed the game up and just see what happened. It was hilarious.
And I mean, and that's very, that's based on skill level.
It is based on skill level.
So that's an algorithm that he basically builds on how good of a player is. But you can't predict that a guy is going to, twist his ankle in a simulator. That could happen in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Concussion
Injury cannot be accounted for.
All I know is that the Patriots are a good team. This is not the best Patriots team I've ever seen in my life.
The
best Patriots team I've seen.
Without Edelman, the whole season.
Oh, that's that makes the team 12 points below right there, right?
Will Ford,
Matt
Light.
The best team was the 2004-2005 Patriots.
Down.
Those 2 years were the best for the
Patriots.
Patriots.
Down. I agree with you on that one.
But I think they're a serviceable Patriots. I think that there's been Patriots teams that didn't make the Super Bowl that are better than this team. I think the 06 team that lost to the Colts was a better team. Yeah. I think the team that lost to Denver in the first round of the divisional round was a better team than this, right?
I actually thought that the 2008 Patriots
with Castle
was
a better team.
Phenomenally better team.
I agree.
Well-rounded, yes.
A 10-6 team that got
11-5.
11-5. They didn't make the playoffs. Any other day of the week, that team makes the playoffs, right? Any other year, 11-5 makes the playoffs, and it was just an abnormally that year of teams able to,
If you give Brady like a +2 on the win column, that puts us at 13-3. We're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
11-5 misses the playoffs. That's insane.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's crazy.
And you know what?
Good that the AFC was that year.
It was. It's true. General. And you know what? I think Castle would have had at least one playoff win.
In the playoffs, possibly AFC Championship that year.
What year was that? It was 08, right?
08, yeah.
Who ended up going that year?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm trying to think. Who won? That was the year after the Patriots, right? It was Pittsburgh. No, it was Pittsburgh and Arizona. Which, Super Bowl, though. It was a great Super Bowl. They were at the end. Roethlisberger throwing that bomb.
I can't remember. other than Seattle, Denver, there really hasn't been a bad
A blowout.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, that Seattle Denver was a joke.
Like a bad Super Bowl.
I mean,
in our generation.
Peyton hadn't been playing injured.
I
that
actually
game.
love that Super Bowl though.
I did too. I just wanted to see
I made a
friggin'
cake
Peyton
and
Mann's
everything.
horse
I
face
had
is
a
fucking.
Seahawks Denver Broncos cake I made.
Do you know what? I have a Seahawks Arty 84 jersey that I bought, a T-shirt that I bought that year.
Did you?
Oh yeah,
The opening. Do you remember the opening play?
it was a safety, wasn't it?
Safety. Yep.
Yeah, but you know what the opening play was in the 2012 Super Bowl against the Pats and Giants?
Safety.
Safety. And I was there to witness
Yeah, you were probably
the safety dance.
crawled up in your little corner.
2 seconds into the game, I was you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Anyways,
So, Patriots Eagles.
yeah, pick up who's going to win this thing. Real quick, we'll go this, and we're going to talk about
uh,
Adam's adventure in Canada real quick.
I said it from the beginning. We've all said
You're not
the
picking.
Patriots.
You're not picking Phillies.
No, from the. I
You
always
were
said the Patriots.
you were sucking the Eagles' dick all the way up to.
No, I always said it would come down. In the beginning,
What
I
do you
said I
think?
picked Eagles, Patriots, and I said Patriots would win. And then I
Okay.
retracted my Eagles because they lost Carson Wentz.
True.
So,
Okay.
but they ended up making it there anyway. But I still got to stick with Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
What's your final score?
Ooh, I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and I think Foles is going to throw a couple picks. He's going to throw one earlier in the game that's not going to hurt the Eagles,
Yeah.
but then he's going to end up throwing another one like later in the game, and it's going to hurt them. And I think the Patriots will win.
What do you think?
I'm thinking it's
I don't
going
know
to
about
be
a final score,
very
but-
similar.
What was your final score?
Now remember,
I got to think of this. I don't know.
for the Patriots to win, they could have to hold the team till now 20. It was 19 going into last week. Now it's 20 because they held Jacksonville to 20.
Yeah.
So think of that.
Oof.
And anytime they haven't held the team to the minimum of this season, they've
Yeah.
lost. The Giants, they needed to hold the team to a certain amount, and they lost. Well, that was more offensive. They had a score amount of points that they didn't score. So it was the other
Yeah.
way of the spectrum. So go ahead. Yeah, what do you think?
31-24 Patriots.
Wow.
Okay.
Going
Yeah.
that high?
I am. I think that because here's the thing: the Eagles also have players like Blunt, who you know what he doesn't have
He's
that
gonna
great of
be
a.
surprised.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's
I think
gonna
he's-
happen.
I think he's going to score 2 touchdowns.
He's one of those.
I
he's
agree. I think he's going to be the big scorer of the.
He's one of those guys that's going to step it up against his
He
old
is.
team. They reach back.
Not
and
just
like, I
anything.
wanna
He's
stick it.
he's a 6'9" running back. Like,
You
this
know?
guy's a giant.
I'm going.
They have another ex-Patriot too.
Yeah. What's his face? The linebacker.
No,
No, man, like-
Long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I'm going 20-17 Patriots,
Okay.
but in opposite ending. I think we're on defense
The last play of the
for
game.
the last minute.
Okay.
Very similar to the Jags Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
yeah,
The Jag game.
Yep. And we're holding them.
I think the Eagles. I think we kick a field goal to go up 20-17 with less than 2 minutes left, and the Eagles have the ball less than 2 minutes left, like 2 timeouts
Yeah.
going down the field, and they just don't get into field
Foles
range.
can't do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like
I agree.
opposite of all of our Super Bowls where we've had the ball,
Yeah.
we've had to go down and score. I think this is one where we have the lead and we hold it. We
Okay.
hold
Like Seattle.
like potentially.
Seattle, we had
We
to
stay
lead.
the course.
You just had to hold them.
We hold them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that was like on the goal line.
Yeah, I mean they should have
lost that game.
99.9% of the time that team on the 10-yard line
I think
wins
it's a
that game.
situation where like they don't quite get into field goal range, or it's like a missed 58-yarder to end the game.
Yeah. You know what scares me about
Something-
this?
something like that.
Something anomaly
What
like
scares
that.
me with this Eagles team is you have a bunch of kind of has-been all-stars, or even all-stars. You get Alshon Jeffrey, you have Torrey Smith, you have LeGarrette Blunt. You have all these guys.
Could be a
Yeah.
Yeah,
super
exactly.
weapon.
You have all these
All
guys
the
working.
veterans.
Yep. You have all these guys working together, and maybe just for this one game, they soldier up and
Yeah.
can fucking do it. You know, so that kind of worries me. You have all
I like
these
how
collection
I
of
felt
guys.
About the Jags going into the AFC Championship. Like,
See,
Yeah.
I think that-
good defense, good skill position players, serviceable quarterback.
Yeah. But some of these guys are more
Now to,
veterans.
like, less than
I
3
think that
minutes
hurts.
Yep.
I think that hurts Philly.
It hurts them.
I think it hurts him having all those veterans on the team because there's no leader. Who can you look at that team and say who's the leader of that
left.
team?
Carson Wentz is still the leader. He's on the
Still
sideline.
there.
He
That's
is.
true.
No, I understand that, but it's different when you're playing and you're in the silence.
Yeah.
So
How do you feel the reaction in the stadium is going to be?
for
Now, obviously, the entire nation
it's rooting against the
is
Patriots.
anti-Patriots.
Oh,
Absolutely.
big time.
But
That's like 90%.
And I think that stadium's going to have very few Patriots fans
it's
in there
in
too.
Very true.
Minnesota,
Yeah.
where the Eagles just beat the
True.
Vikings. Do you think it's going to be a pro-Patriots fan base.
It's going to be pro.
Just based on the fact that
After going to a Super Bowl,
won,
and being in the stadium during the Super Bowl, you could be blindfolded and you couldn't tell what team was on offense and what team was on defense. It is equally as noisy. You have one section of Patriots fans that are allowed to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Teddy Brady. And you have one section adjacent to it of Philadelphia fans who will buy tickets.
Yeah.
The rest are all corporate, and those are filled by people who pay the outrageous prices. Now, I remember being at that stadium against the Giants and the Patriots, and I got to tell you, I probably seen more Giants jerseys than Patriots jerseys. I mean, it was the second time they played the Giants, and it was Indianapolis. But I could honestly tell you, I couldn't tell you the difference of sound in that stadium when one team was on offense and the other one was on offense. So, in a sense, for the players, I think it's going to be very mediocre. I think it's going to be I think there'll be more Philadelphia fans that travel out there.
Yeah.
But for the players to hear, I don't think it's going to make a difference. It's just going to be a noisy building.
I'm just thinking like the outside of the stadium.
It's going to be more Philadelphia, hands down. Here's the thing, because so many Patriots fans. I mean, I went to the one. There was the fifth one for Tom Brady, and there was already a reduction there. Now you think of the Seattle one, there was even more. The one that happened last year, there was even more. This year, there's good. I mean, think about it though. It's been 15 years, right? You and I were in high school the first time they went to the Super Bowl with Brady, right? I mean, we were in middle school the first time they went when they went Bledsoe. Second.
Middle school, the first one. That was insane.
Which that kickoff return and
2001, we were 17. I'm trying to remember where I watched that Super Bowl.
In my house.
Yes.
Remember when they kicked Vinatieri kicked Joe Maglioni's jumping up and down and with the pitches taking it?
We watched the
AFC Championship was at Monaco's house.
Super Bowl
Oh. In Everett. Yeah, one of my buddies' house in Everett. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get the pictures and everything of that Super Bowl, and my
Mikey was there.
Mikey, Adam, not that Adam, the little Adam. Joe Maggs, his girlfriend. We had Danielle Galdo was there with Linda. Oh yeah, it was jammed. My cousins were there. It was packed, jam hot. There was more people there than.
That's when my weight loss process went into effect.
That place was packed tighter than Adam's asshole in Canada.
We literally were like sardines in a sardine can.
Oh yeah, it was like 90 degrees down there.
Fantastic.
It's awesome. I mean, what a way to win! You have everyone there. Everyone's jumping up and down, screaming and yelling.
That was the first one. The second one against the Eagles.
Second one was against Carolina.
Carolina.
It was also at my house. I don't know if you think you popped in.
I think that was upstairs at your house, though.
Yeah, I think we did in the big screen.
And then the following year, I watched it at my house.
But I think it's going to be a very similar to the Jag. I think it's going to be very similar to the Super Bowl we played against Seattle. It's going to be close, kind of back and forth. And I agree. I think the Pats are going to be on defense for the last drive.
I think it's different.
And I think it's going to be a 4-point game. So I'm going to go on. I'm going to say it's going to be 28-24 going into the last minute of the game. And I think that this game is going to have to be won on Foles' arm to score a touchdown. And I think that the last minute of the game, they're going to get close. They're going to tease us. They're going to get to the 40, and then they're going to get sacked. And then it's going to be a fumble or something crazy or an interception.
Like a ridiculously long field goal to try to
or like a 65-yarder miss. They're going to try to kick the field goal and get the onside real quick. There's going to be some kind of abnormally at the. I think Philadelphia loses their shit the last 2 minutes of the game and it falls. I think the fourth quarter you see Philadelphia starting to fall apart.
I agree.
I think that fatigue hits Foles, and I think that like players like Garrett Blount, who are going to have a great first half, and maybe you're right, get 2 touchdowns, but it's going to be in the first half. Yeah. You're going to see not be so active. You're going to see Ertz probably get injured. I think Ertz is going to probably leave with an injury, or he's going to be injured during that game. You're going to see a very mediocre Gronk, who's still going to be. I think Gronk is never going to be the same again. I don't think he's ever going to go for those.
No, he's not going to be.
Was that? Edelman comes back. I think Gronk's changed. I don't think you're ever going to see him going for these big hits anymore. I think he's going to be shell shocked a little bit, and he's going to be a little frightened at least for the next couple seasons.
Has Gronk played a full season in his NFL career?
I think he's got one under his belt.
Yeah, he does.
One. And that's about it.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of abnormalities. I think the Patriots are going to win. I think the Patriots will win, and I think Tom Brady retires after the season. This is it.
You think so?
I think so. I think there's so much
Giselle's chirping.
Not even that much. I think you could just tell her to go fuck herself. I mean,
Did you hear about those reports?
I mean, yeah, but he's. I mean, listen. Every wife wants their husband to do something,
He's got to
right?
promote the brand now.
Any girlfriend wants to.
No, he's not going
I
to.
don't think Brady retires.
You don't
I
think
don't
so?
think so either. No way.
So you
Because
think?
they just traded Garoppolo, and that's why.
Yeah, but I don't think
There's
that's
no way.
anything. So you think that Brady goes out like a dying quarterback, like a Favre, like who should have retired
Yeah.
2 years ago?
You
think
can't
he's
give her that competitive edge. You can't do it. And the thing
Or-
is, they just traded Garoppolo, and he
Yeah, but what
wanted
the fuck?
that trade.
What? But why does Brady give a fuck? Once he retires, he's done.
But
doesn't
he had
give a
to
shit
do
about
with
the
that
Patriots.
Garoppolo trade.
Yeah, but who cares? He doesn't give a shit
Because
about
he
the
cares
Patriots.
about his legacy.
They would have never traded Garoppolo if they had known Brady was going to retire.
Exactly.
Yeah, but how did they not know? What
Because
does-
Brady wanted the trade.
Yeah, but honestly, what
Brady
does,
wanted to trade him.
because he wants to start this season. Why does
In the next.
No, but why does Brady give a fuck about the Patriots? Honestly, at the end of the day, when he retires and he wins his 6th Super Bowl, why the fuck does he give a fuck?
Because
about
he
the
cares
Patriots?
about his
Do you really
brand.
give a fuck about your job? If you tomorrow you quit and went to another job, do you really give a fuck about them? A little bit, right?
A little bit.
Okay.
But he does care about his brand.
It's a but his brand has nothing to do with the Patriots. His brand is TB12. It has nothing to do with New England Patriots.
Their mind is different than ours. It's all about making money.
He's never going to make money. Tom Brady can be left on
And
fucking
making more
Jupiter.
money.
You can put him in a rocket ship and send him to Jupiter.
They
He's going to
have
make
a
money.
different mindset than us. Like,
No,
we're
he
not in the
doesn't.
same
He's a
boat.
fucking. He works. He's an employee. His boss is Bob Kraft. Your boss is Joe
But his
Small.
wife is Giselle Bunchkin.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who your
It's all
wife
about
is.
the vajayjay.
At the end of the day, it has no. It doesn't matter. You are at the end of the day an employee. You at the end of the day you are an employee
Yeah.
of a company
Yeah.
that you have no.
But he has loyalty to them. He's been with them how long? Like, there's
Dude, I
it's
worked for the
developing.
same fucking sneaker company for 12
That's
years.
you. I think Tom.
No,
that's you.
any person's like that. You give me a better offer,
But you're
I'm
not
leaving.
going to want somebody to be traded and then, like, say
Who
the next
cares?
piece.
Dude, you know how many
Like-
people I trained?
He cares about his legacy.
Dude, you know how many people I was supposed to train and I gave them shitty training just so they wouldn't take my job?
But were you an all-star in your
no,
performance?
but
exactly. He cares
left
about
my
his legacy.
But I left my company to give a fuck.
But he cares about his legacy. That's
No, he
the thing.
doesn't. There's no
Yes, he
legacy.
does.
He already has a legacy. He's won 6 Super Bowls. He's not. His legacy's Tom
But
Brady,
he
not the New
knows that
England
everybody would
Patriots.
fucking hate him if, like.
No, they won't. He will.
But everybody would hate him.
He will.
Everyone would honestly hate him. It's like, peace. And then people are like, what the hell,
Dude,
Tom? We traded Garoppolo.
Do you think anyone,
Like-
dude, 95% of the country.
Hey, was shooting tonight.
I seen that. 95% of the country hates Tom Brady. Okay, already.
Yeah.
Already. The only people who like him is Maine, New
Within
Hampshire,
our little bucket.
half of Massachusetts, and Rhode Island.
Little
In
area.
And a little bit of Connecticut.
Little circle in Washington.
That's
No,
it.
Brady's not
Yeah,
retiring.
Washington.
You notice that on the
Yeah,
picture?
fucking
The little
weird.
circle in Washington. What is that? What
So
is
at the
that
end of the
for?
day, Tom, I don't know, but here's the thing: Tom Brady doesn't give a fuck about the Patriots. He doesn't.
He does for his brand.
I disagree.
I disagree too.
His brand has nothing to do with the Patriots. It's totally different.
But he cares
What does
about
his brand have to do?
legacy, and
He
people
could
are
have
gonna
this.
hate him.
No, he
People are gonna hate
doesn't.
him.
He could give 2 fucks if people
No,
hate
people
him.
hate him because they're going to be like, what about...
Dude,
eventually
if he
people
would,
wanna hate
if he
him.
worried about that, then he wouldn't be doing those Tony Robbins.
Then why
fucking
would he
things.
want the Patriots to trade Garoppolo?
Because he wants. He doesn't want any competition. Because he wants to be number one. Because what are we talking about for the first fucking half of this season? Garoppolo and Brady, weren't we?
He wouldn't be competition anyway.
Guess what we were talking about for the second half of the season? Tom Brady,
I hate
right?
nerve.
Have you heard Garoppolo at all during the fucking this playoffs?
No, but he's actually getting bonuses for these
Yes,
wins.
because how good he did in San Francisco, and he has no competition to Brady.
He's getting
Roster
bonuses.
bonuses from the Patriots.
Yeah, for these wins, like he's getting bonuses. I
Who
was reading
is?
about Garoppolo.
Good for him, man. Who cares? But then
ruined
Tom Brady, if you're really okay, say you're good at your job, right? We're gonna tell this. In fucking football, you could be a really good stalker at a fucking grocery store, right?
Right.
You're really good, and you're making you're making more money, and you're more popular, and you have more benefits,
Yeah.
right? And you have this kid who can do it just as good as you, right?
Okay.
But you're gonna leave to go to fucking. You're working at Purity. You're gonna go to fucking Star Market, right?
Yeah.
But your boss doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make me make more money, or you're just not gonna work. You're gonna retire, right? Do you give a fuck about your company?
I
if this
agree.
kid, you just want that kid out of the
here's
picture
thing.
so you can make all the money.
I
don't you?
agree with you, but here's the thing. Well, can I talk now without anything chirping in here? Please, God, for the love of God. All right, so I would agree with you, but here's the thing. It wasn't exactly early in the season. If what you said, I would believe you if it was earlier in the season, but the season was well along.
Hold on,
and
we're
it's
not
like-
recording right now.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
Okay. I'd agree with you if it was the start of the season, but the season was already well along, and Brady is not going to be, trade this guy, whatever like that.
How do you
Want
know
him to
that
trade.
though?
True, but there is.
How do you know that Brady said that?
I believe there was some conflict there. I don't know what it was.
They
would not. The organization would not have let it happen.
Yeah, but
if they thought that Brady could possibly, the season was already going in a good direction anyway. So if the organization really thought that, then why would they let Garoppolo go?
Because
if he was not going to be there the next year.
Because you've lied to your boss before. Have you
but
not?
He's been there.
Have you not lied to your boss or an employer of some sort?
Yes, of course.
Any course of your life, right?
Yes.
Everyone has.
Yeah.
So you could tell your boss, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do this," and then you don't do it.
But it also wasn't on a national stage.
But you saying that the Patriots have anything to do with Tom Brady's brand has nothing to do with it, man. He could have been a fucking. The reason he's where he is because of the Patriots. But at the end of the day, the Patriots aren't going to make Tom Brady. Tom Brady already made himself.
If he retires, it's not because of him. It's because of Giselle.
If he retires, it's because you know what? He doesn't want to play anymore.
No, it's because of Giselle.
But he's going to make more money at the end of the day in the next 20 years of his life than he made the first 20 years of his life. Possibly. Regardless if he was a New England Patriot, regardless of what he's... Because you know what? You're never going to see him. He's going to be like Drew Bledsoe. He's going to pop in every once in a while.
Yep.
You don't relate the Patriots with Drew Bledsoe's wine company, do you?
People will hate him, though. Honestly, I will become a Patriot hater.
People are going to hate him anyways.
I will become a Patriot hater if he retires after this year. I will, because...
Why?
Because we traded away... We traded away here's the thing. No, let me retract.
But why is that his fault? No. He didn't trade him.
No, he didn't.
Kraft traded him.
He had an earpiece because they thought Brady was going to be around.
So, but at the end of the day, he didn't push the button. He didn't bomb...
True.
He didn't bomb Japan.
So that's another reason to be a hater, because the organization did.
He wasn't true.
Because
so hate the organization for trading Jimmy G.
Okay.
Don't hate.
But here's the thing: Jimmy G also has to become good too. That's the thing. So we'll say 5 years from now. We'll go 5 years from now.
Yeah.
If Jimmy G turns out to be an all-star and fucking Brady retires, I'll be a Raiders fan.
I thought Jimmy G was a good player from the start. I thought he had potential. I don't know how good he's going to be.
We don't know.
The fact that he's a 49er, I could root for him because it's an NFC team. Yeah. So when he does good, as long as he's not playing the Saints. And but you don't have to worry about like an AFC team. Like you don't have to worry about him. So like I can still root for the Patriots and still root for Jimmy G. If he's going to be a good player, great. If he's not, then you know what? Maybe he knew something. But at the end of the day, you can't. It's not, Tom Brady didn't kill thousands of Japanese people during World War II.
Whoa.
Truman did.
Whoa.
Okay?
We're going.
So just because the general, the general of the U.S. Army goes, we're going to bomb Japan. Yeah. Truman had to push the button.
Yeah.
Okay. So just because Tom Brady bitched all this time because he didn't want this guy breathing up his ass, Kraft had to push the button.
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't make that move. Kraft could have said, "Tom, shut the fuck up and just play football," but he didn't. He hit the button. So at the end of the day, you can't blame Tom Brady for trading him. And I've done a lot of things in jobs and done a lot of things in the past that basically, maybe prevented one thing or another and then changed around. But you're your own person. And as way I see it, Tom Brady's his own brand. And if he wants to retire, then good for him. If he wants to play another year, that's good. All I give a shit is about the Patriots being good because that's my team. I'm not the Tom Brady team. I like Tom Brady. I think he's a great quarterback, but I'm not team Tom Brady. He's not 12 people on the field at any given time. 11 people on the field, But you know what I'm saying. So it's like, so you can't really get mad at this guy if he decided he was going to hang it up.
But he said he wanted to play till he was 45.
But do you think people are mad at Peyton for hanging it up?
Well, he didn't say he wanted to play till he was like 45.
True, but
he didn't make this kind of statement.
But Peyton also didn't say he wanted to retire after the game was over.
Well, he just had a noodle arm at that point. It was obvious he was done. That defense won that Super Bowl.
But wouldn't you feel better if Tom Brady decided he was going to retire after the Super Bowl, right? And just be like, that's it.
We literally have no. We're gonna have Hoyer next. Horrible.
But say he retires and he goes out on his horse, like fucking like Wade Boggs during the parade, right?
His horse.
Then to see him look like Brett Favre.
Oh God, I fucking hate him.
And then to the point where he's so bad he gets traded.
I can't.
Can you imagine Tom Brady gets to the point where he's so bad he gets traded to like the Jets?
No, you know what?
Or the Browns?
He's not going to trade to the Browns.
No, but he has no say. He could get traded to the Browns. Here's the thing. Tom Brady is not the owner or the general manager of the team. If Tom Brady sucks, he's getting traded to the Browns.
Business.
So at the end of the day, do you really want to see him go play his last career on the fucking Cleveland Browns?
It's not going to happen because
How do you
Kraft
know?
is in love with him.
But how do you know?
I don't know, but I know Kraft is in love with him.
Listen,
I believe you.
Kraft is a very smart businessman, and he didn't make his businessman on passion. He made his business and money on.
True. But honestly, they should have traded Brady already. I would have traded Brady.
They should have traded Brady this season.
They should have.
He should have
And
been.
they didn't, which shows me they're fucking in love with him.
So if they got
You know?
one season out of not trading Brady, one more Super Bowl win from not trading Brady, and he traded having maybe another decade of good football in the city, that's a bad business move.
Yep.
Tom Brady should have been traded at the beginning of September to the
Yes.
San Francisco Giants, where he wants to go play because he's from California, and they should have made Garoppolo the starting quarterback. I mean, 49ers. I'm thinking about the baseball team. There you go. Yeah, the 49ers.
Sue's the only one.
Thank you, Sue.
Because I didn't even pick
She's-
that
she's
up.
like the-
Susie's like the only one that got it.
Sue's the fact checker of the crowd. But wouldn't you feel better? Not this season, but wouldn't you feel like, yeah, he was drafted by the Montreal Expos as a catcher, like Tebow. But wouldn't you feel better? Not this season, but like 10 years from now, if you had a really good quarterback on your team.
Yes.
And even if Tom went out to San
gave
Francisco
you
and
a
won
chance.
another quarterback, say he had this miraculous season where he was able to bring the 49ers to a Super Bowl and win, right? You could see, you know what? Okay, but then he had that one season that was like that was left of him. He had that like O.J. Simpson going back to San Francisco his last season, right?
Yeah.
He had a little bit in him.
Yeah.
That's it. But as a good business person, you have to understand that if you want your business to continue to
But
succeed.
my point is the Patriots don't see that because Kraft is in love.
Well, that's maybe
in love.
the worst business decision Kraft probably ever made in his life.
I think it is.
And if that's the case, his son probably should take over business, and he should get a psychological.
He likes his hot dog sliced.
He does like his hot dog slice. It's you ever like a hot dog slice?
You know you like it.
You know you like it. What a fucking bizarre response.
Comment. It was you like it part that was weird. And if you just say like sliced, I could get that.
But he
'cause
doesn't drink
you
up
could
in
do
the
that.
stands.
He does. He just walked down at the water to look who it was. Give me a break.
Maybe he's losing it. Maybe it's time that his son takes over the team. Who knows?
I think so too.
I mean,
I think
he's
he's out of
80
his
years
mind.
old, right?
Did you ever see that video of Kraft? It was like maybe a year after him and his wife died, and then he was with that young girl. It is so hard to find now. There's a video with him with this
yeah,
young
they
girl
kinda just
rehearsing
disappeared.
a script.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, and then look for it on YouTube. It's gone.
Yeah.
Then you can't find it. It's like his people got to it. It's not easy to find. You can find people commenting on that video and showing little clips.
Yep.
But like the whole video itself, you will not find. I promise.
Listen, I think Kraft's a great businessman. I think he did a great thing with the team. He saved us from going to St. Louis.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, we would have been an expansion team. We would have been the Boston.
That's what I said last week. I
Yeah,
said this last
we
week.
would have been the Boston Dick Suckers, and had been basically the Jacksonville Jaguars of football. We would have instead of the Jaguars going down to Jacksonville, they would have been up in New England. And we would have had that team.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's basically what we would have got if the Patriots moved to St. Louis in '94.
Yes.
But we did, and we saved them. Kraft saved the team. We're here.
We're here.
We got 5 Super Bowl wins. We're going to our 10th Super Bowl.
We're here.
We can't be sad. But you got to understand that inevitably it's going to happen. At the end of the day, Tom Brady's not going to be on the team anymore.
Yes.
So you could cash in. You've been up in the casino. You've been making money. What happens? What's the worst thing you do? Give it back, right? So are we giving back, keeping Tom Brady for another year? Because what happens if game 1 next year, he throws his ACL out and he has a career-end injury against the Dolphins?
Yeah, it's not going to heal as fast. Let's see what his
And-
TB12 method does then.
And we have either A,
It's over.
Brian Hoyer as our backup, or some guy we
God.
drafted that has no experience,
Yeah.
right? We're going to have the 32nd and 33rd pick next year, right? How good is that for a quarterback? We got lucky. And I don't care what anyone says and how good of a drafted Belichick is, because he says as many blemishes as he had success, right? As many good guys as he's drafted some shitty guys.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady, and I don't care how you say it, was a lucky fucking pick. Now, maybe you could say that he was able to blossom as well as he did on the Patriots, and he may have not have done that on another team.
Yeah.
So you can take that in consideration, that maybe being in the system actually helped him. But at the end of the day, if he was drafted by another team, say like, I don't know, the Raiders,
Yeah.
you never know. You might not have heard of him. He might have been a career backup. So
Yeah.
his being drafted by the Patriots helped him, but Belichick being able to produce what he did was his luck. I mean, come on.
It can't be gold all the time. That's
No.
for sure.
I mean, you're going to strike out. As what they say, you only miss 100% of the balls you swing at. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So,
Wow, we had all sports. So that means next week, I feel like it's no sports. Let's have no sports because we have that
next
lull
week.
time.
yeah, next week we're
Right.
going to talk about
We're going to talk about Canada. We can get into all this stuff,
Yeah.
non-sports related, because we're going to have
Sports.
this lull week. This lull week.
Yeah, next
of-
week's going to suck a little bit, huh?
Well, no, I got Canada story.
You don't want to
I
talk
got-
about the
I got-
NBA All-Star game at all? or the NHL All-Star?
We got
Or you
Canada,
want to talk about the Pro
We
Bowl?
have GQ story. We got everything we talk about
Yeah.
next week.
But you can catch some of these stories ahead of time on the Packy or the Whirlwind.
Or the whirlwindreport.com
Yeah,
or
so
the Packy.com.
Go to both, and you can catch some of these
Both
stories.
of us, it's very, back and forth.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's almost like left Snickers.
We share.
Left Twix, right Twix.
It's like passing a girl back and forth.
Yeah. Like a little Nola over there for 8 nipples. Laying there, exhausted of a day of doing nothing. And Tommy over here with his full-blown erection on the radio show. And now he's just sitting there sauteing himself.
And now you know he's an ear fetish because I was rubbing his ears when that happened.
Tommy.
Oh, boy.
Look at him. He's just licking himself clean. All right, everyone. Okay, we'll leave it at that. We lost about 10 minutes of the show, but it is what it is.
It'll still be there.
I don't know what's going on.